been given a lot of credit for having it. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things.
Так, ви можете тут подивитись. Так, от дивіться, що відбувається. Дивіться, є тут Титан, але найбільше ця частина. І ми розуміємо, куди вони йшли, як вони йшли з півночі і що вони хотіли, але тим не менш ми все це відстояли. І ви знаєте, там металургійна галузь дуже розвинута була, потім вони все підірвали, Азовсталь тощо, але тим не менш, ось. І Дніпровський регіон повністю, і бачите, ви Донецький, там, де рожевий, там, де тимчасово захоплено, тобто вони частково це взяли. Немає. Ну, тобто це великі гроші, дуже великі, і тому це треба захищати.
So the Ukrainians are claiming that they have some 5% of the world's rare earth metals in their territory. That is to say, in internationally recognized Ukrainian territory, which is not the same as what Kiev actually controls right now, of course. However, even this figure is disputed. There are reports out there which suggest that that has been overestimated and that Ukraine does not have as much as it claims, which brings into question the whole nature of the deal. But beyond that, of course, as Ukraine is a country at war, as it is a country that is under occupation in parts of its territory, then this brings into question the fact that it means that the war is a huge variable, the outcome of the war. So whether a deal is done or a victory is achieved on the battlefield will have an effect on the deal itself. So it does seem rather premature to agree on a deal when you don't know the full extent of the deposits and you don't know who's controlling them. There was an initial deal, and that deal was access to those rare earth metals, which are under dispute, as I say, in exchange for services rendered, as in not in exchange for future monies or for security guarantees for Ukraine, but in fact for past assistance. So in a sense, there was a degree of extortion there. Ukraine was to hand over its wealth in return for what it had supposedly been given. That deal has now been revised somewhat, but the terms of it are still unclear. But again, they have to be unclear if you don't know who's controlling the ground over the top of the minerals, and if you don't know the true volume and extent of them. We know that in one of his rasher moments, shall we say, that President Trump called Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator without elections. Zelensky's response was, well, I'm happy to cede power, but if I do so, then I'm going to need something back from you. So he seems willing. He appears willing to make a certain self-sacrifice if Ukraine gets something in return. But as it stands, and I need to be clear about this, Ukraine isn't getting enough back for there to be a substantial deal. And the difference is, of course, is that in the US, almost any deal is a good deal, whereas in the United States, in Ukraine, a bad deal is worse than no deal.
Trump was right about everything. It just came in. Somebody sent it. I said, this was sent in by a fan. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly it's okay with me if he'd like to. And he would like to sign it together with me. And I understand that's a big deal, very big deal.
Окремо про які суми йдеться і чому там немає прямих безпекових гарантій США.
Ця угода може бути великий успіх мати або тихенько пройти. А великий успіх, я вважаю, залежить від нашої розмови з президентом Трампом.
Mean to you, given that you would be the first to visit President.
Головне для мене було, що ми не є боржниками, і незважаючи, що де звучить в медіа, в угоді немає ні 500 мільярдів боргу, ні 350, ні 100 мільярдів, тому що це було би несправедливо.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president with us. And he's been through a lot. He's been through a tremendous amount, like probably nobody else, almost nobody else in history, if you really get right down to it. And we're going to have a discussion and see what we do. Oh, that's better.
Press, thank you. Press, thank you very much. Thank you, press. Thank you very much, press.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, please, can you have a look this way?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President.
This way, please.
Please, please, Mr. President.
To your right, please. To your right, please. The President-elect.
Well, I think there is some value to Ukraine, which is why they're going ahead with this, not just in a meeting with President Trump, but ensuring that there can be some sort of concrete relationship, something which actually significantly gets done. So I think that's what's in it for the Ukrainians. If there is a financial deal done, it implies a future Kiev government. As this deal is not currently with the Russians now. The Americans may well wish to do it with the Russians in time if the Russians are controlling this territory by virtue of an enforced ceasefire, armistice, or whatever you will. But at the moment, as it stands, this deal is between Kiev and Washington. So that in itself will please the Ukrainians, and I think that is why they want to go, even if the terms do not look to be particularly financially favorable.
We're going to stop that ridiculous war. Very talented guy. We have very talented people working for us. So we're looking to do a deal with Ukraine where they're going to secure what we're giving them with their rare earth and other things.
In terms of a winner, I mean, it's yet to be decided. But I would say that as all things being equal, then there actually are no winners in this war. Not the Ukrainians, who have been emasculated and have had so many of their own people slaughtered, but also naturally, this is debilitating Russia for the sake of a dream of an empire, and that isn't going particularly well either. So I don't think there are any winners. Obviously, Trump wants to be the winner. Ukraine wants to continue to exist. Russia wants its empire. Those three things can't coexist in the same space-time continuum.
Кар'єра. Абсолютно всі матеріалс, які є в кар'єрі, ми намагаємося. Приїхав, так? Це вже графіт, який ми можемо сміливо продавати нашим клієнтам. Ось, як то кажуть, англійську свою підтягнути.
Да, я австралийский